So here we are, week into the hype that is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. The dream isn't dead, and neither is Megaman apparently, as we not only got Megaman back in the building, but we also got my boy X to the Z X. My boy X is finally getting some play to knock a nigga's head off. Shit, I can't say nigga, right? It's not like I'm making money off this YouTube thing anyway, so cursing away we go. Anyways, this video will hope to chronicle just how many Mega Man peeps were in their own crossover games before X got his time to shine. And it's not just Marvel vs. Capcom games I'll be covering, but other crossover games in general. As many games as I remember a Mega Man character being in. So with that said, it may not be a complete list, but I'm fairly certain that it's damn close to accurate, and if it's not, then I'll make a follow-up video if I'm missing any Mega Man peeps at all. In any event, without further ado, let's get right back to humble beginnings. And by humble beginnings, I mean as early as 20 years ago. At that time, I was probably in diapers. Anyway, on with the shit. The year is 1995, and Capcom is balls deep in the arcade gaming scene, and by extension, the fighting game market. After 7 main games into the series, they realized that their boy didn't have a proper arcade game release. So the question to Capcom at that point was how to bring their popular IP, Mega Man, to the arcade scene and make him feel right at home. The answer lied in Mega Man The Power Battle, released in Japanese arcades on October 1995, shortly after the release of Mega Man 7. As such, the rosters included the likes of Mega Man and Proto Man, alongside Bass, the then newcomer of the series. Layout for the game bared a similar sentiment to the console Mega Man games. You select a location, and popping of the boss you fight appears. And wait, so you don't go through the stage first? You just go straight to the boss? Yep, you just skip all the foreplay and go straight into the juicy bits. Each stage in this game plays itself like a Mega Man boss stage, so you can pretty much say that this is the boss rush of every single Mega Man game from 1 to 7. And just like every boss in the game, they have specific patterns. They have a life bar for you and the opponent, and you also have a chance to win their weapons upon their defeat. As you can see, I had a bit of trouble fighting such an easy boss, but when you go to the next screen, you see I got the item, and Ice Slasher. So in this respect, just like in the main Mega Man game series, there were certain enemies that were weak against certain attacks, just like in the main game where you had a rock, paper, scissors format. Although I'm not too skilled in Mega Man to really know what is weak against what, I'm sure the veterans will be easier to figure that out. Due to this game's success, exactly a year ago from now, 1996, we saw the release of this game's direct sequel, The Power Fighters. The main difference being that instead of 3 characters, you now have 4 characters to mess around with, as newcomer Duo from Mega Man 8 joins the fray. In fact, canon-wise, the game takes place a little bit after Mega Man 8, as you're composed with 3 different scenarios. You search for Dr. Wily, you recover the lost parts, or you rescue Roll. Depending on who you pick, you have to have a selection of the various fighters that you'll go up against. And in this instance, I decide to go up against Rockman just out of complete randomness. And as you can clearly see, there's a very similar sentiment to the first game, but the presentation is a lot more upgraded than the previous game. Like, Mega Man actually has a legit life bar. I guess the word that I'm looking for is that it looks modern. It looks like a modern fighting game, more so than the first game did. Capcom wanted to sell Power Battles and Power Fighters as a Mega Man fighting game, but kept with the same style as the Mega Man that we've all come to know and love. But it isn't a fighting game in the definition that we know it as it is today. So, although this is the origins of Mega Man in a fighting game atmosphere, it'll be a couple of years later until we actually do see Mega Man in a fighting game for real, and it's going to be a game that I'm sure all of you know, and it's going to be a game that pretty much defined what it was for us to expect as Mega Man fans to see in such a light. Dr. Light. No? Okay.
Capcom presents Marvel vs. Capcom. Come on.
You heard the lady and you heard the music. This is the first collaboration game that we'll be looking at, and it's a rather iconic one, I'm pretty sure you all know. Although not the first time the two companies collaborated with each other. Released in 1998, Marvel vs. Capcom showed a first in the series where both Marvel and Capcom provide representatives for each of their games and comics. One of the representatives for their own game, Mega Man, is joined by Roll, an otherwise unlockable character, marking their inaugural debut in a collaboration game. While Power Battle and Power Fighters placed Mega Man in familiar territory, this game turned him into a brawler, something he was quite not used to. Although some key elements unique to his gameplay, including the acquisitions of weapons and the appearance of Rush, provides a familiar aesthetic. Even down to Roll, who wasn't even a fighter at all in the main games, provide Mega Man's moves with a splash of her own style. Mega Man and Roll would both return in the game's sequel alongside two other buddies from a different universe altogether. On the next video I'll be discussing that as well as two other games, with a third video providing the finale in this adventure. Thank you all once again, and I hope you all stay tuned because next time I'll be taking you guys for a ride.